Hi, I'd just like to show you one of the projects that we're going to be working on. I've been working on this for some time. It's a Gauge 1 Class 33, a Crompton. It's a slimline, so it's a 33.2. It's made by Bowater models. The whole thing, the body part, is 3D printed. So a lot of the sections I've been working on for some time, because the inside, if you can see that, is 3D printed. The whole thing is, and you get lots of lines. The only way you can get a smooth finish like this is to sand it down and then use 3-4 coats of Halford's filler primer. That's what I've used on this. It comes in 2 sections, so I've glued the 2 sections together, used a piece of filler so that you can't see the join, and that's what's made the first part of the roof. There are 2 cabs. You can probably see on the inside that it's still rough and bumpy. What I'm actually doing at the moment is to start building the actual desk where the controls are inside. So I've kind of roughed out with a piece of wood, built the top bit, and that's where the controls will go inside. So there are 2 cabs. Again, they were like it is underneath with all this. You can hear, because the type of 3D printing is where it lays the filament on top, melted filament on top, it creates lots of lines. So with a bit of work you can get it quite smooth. What I use for that is an Isopon body filler. I think it's P38, and you can put that on, let it go off. I usually let it go 24 hours and then sand it down. Keep sanding it, and then once you've got it reshaped, you can then again use the Halford's filler primer. So that's how I've managed to get that to there so far. The other thing I did, so you get 2 of those, so this is the other one, just to show there are 2. The sides are made of acrylic. So this is the sides of it. They're made of acrylic. All I've done is sprayed roughly on the outside with the filler primer. I'll just wait for that to focus a bit so you can see. There we are. That's made of an acrylic plastic. When it came in the post, the actual base plate of the logo was broken in a couple of places. So I couldn't see, by the time it's got the batteries, the bogies on it and various other bits, I didn't think it was going to take the strength. So what I did, I got some aluminium and I put the acrylic on top, drew round and then cut out an aluminium. And what I've done is bonded with super glue the original acrylic to the aluminium base, which will make it a lot stronger and a bit heavier. So this is where I am on the Class 33, and it's taken, I think I got it about August last year, and we're now just right on the end of January. So it's taken that. I don't work on it every day. What I tend to do is have 2 or 3 projects going at once, so I can do a little bit on one, put it to one side, and then carry on with something else. The instructions that you get with this, you just download, just go to Bowater models online and you can just download, and it shows you step by step how you just super glue the sides, and basically it tells you about rubbing down, and I think it suggests 2 or 3 coats of the filler primer will bring it up to what you wanted. I used the body filler as well to really get a good finish. Hoping that will focus itself. Yes, it is. So you can see on there what it looks like. with the bits just glued. There are slightly different, because with the 33 O as they've got on there, that is the wider class 33, because they built slimline ones to go down the Hastings line, and as soon as I used to drive those, I decided to build the 33 to the narrow gauge one, or the narrow sided one, so that that was what I used to drive. The bogies themselves, I can show you the underside and you can see the 3D printing. I haven't done anything to this side of it because it's going to be glued onto the bogie when it comes. They're just overlays, and I've been working on I found some springs. I've got some pictures of the real bogies, and I'm going to add some detail of my own. There are the steps that come down, which are again made of acrylic, cut out of acrylic, but I should make the steps go the full depth into the bogie itself. Add these springs that I've got there, a bit more detail, and the bogies actually should be here in the next few days when they come, because they're made by somebody else. They're all metal construction with steel wheels, and there are 2 motors on each bogie, so there'll be 4 motors, so it will be quite a powerful bit of equipment. Just excuse me a moment, I'm just going to get the fuel tank. Right, so this is a part of the tanks that go underneath. Now I haven't touched this one, so you can see that, you can see where the 3D printing leaves that shape. It's not as daunting as you think. When I first got it, I thought I'm going to be here for years, but it's not. With this type of thing, you could get away with just a light rub down with a medium grade sandpaper. I use the green grit type papers, and just take the sharpness of that off, and then 3 or 4 coats of the filler primer will bring that up so that you get a finish a bit like the cab, where it's quite smooth and ready to paint. I mean, there's a lot more detail that I've got to add on to this yet, so probably painting will be probably more or less the last thing I do, because I'd hate to start painting and then you want to add something and it gets in the way. So the painting will probably be the last part, because I will want to fit all the electronics. It will be fully radio controlled with a sound unit, and I'll take you through all of the bits if you've ever wanted to know how one of these goes. It's when it all arrives in the box and you see it all in its 3D printed form, it does look a little bit daunting, but bit of time, take your time, and it is quite easy. I will probably demonstrate how I rub some of this down and use the primer. So that's one of the projects that I'm working on at the moment, and if you carry on watching and subscribe, you can follow the process of this from now until it actually runs. I belong to a model engineering society, and they have a mixture of 16mm or O gauge track, and they also have a gauge 1 track, so I'll be able to run this. It will be fully radio controlled, so it won't be electric through the track. It will be totally independent with a radio control system, and as I said, sound as well. So it's not going to be a cheap process. So far, with the body, I think it came to, with the delivery, about 270, and then I've spent another 250 on the 2 bogies and the 4 motors. You don't have to have 4, but it just the guy who I got, it's from a company called Fossworks. He is the guy that does all the electronics, radio control, everything, and he also makes the bogies and fits all the motors and the cogs. So all you've got to do is just bolt these on the end. So when they come, there's no reason why I can't rig up some kind of batteries inside to make it run, so I can take it down to the track and run it round the track just to see how it's balanced and various other bits and pieces as we go. So yes, that is one of the projects that I'm working on. The other thing which I did show you was I'm going to convert a 4MT Hornby Dublo 3-rail loco, which I work on. So this is the 2-rail version that you can see there, and this is a 3-rail version, and the difference is the spoons underneath. So what I'm going to be doing in the next few days is to show you how you take this bit off here, and basically it's the same chassis as the 3-rail. It's just they modified it and they put contacts that go onto these two wheels at the sides. Whereas on the one with the spoons go along and they rub on the 3rd rail. I can show you a piece of track. So I've got lots of track here. So you can see the 3-rail there. So you can see that the spoons rub and pick up. So one side of the current goes through one side of the loco wheels, and the other goes through the spoons in the middle. And that's how the Hornby Dublo 3-rail worked. And then of course when they went over to 2-rail, that was no good because there's no central pickup, so that all they had to do was liven up the other sides and just stop the current going through. So yes, that's how that worked on that. Okay, so I don't know why it's gone out of focus. I'll see if I can just get it back in again. I don't know. There we are. Yes, we've gone back in the photo. I'm really sorry about that. And I'm still playing with this camera and getting it working. So that is the Hornby 3-rail and the Hornby 2-rail. So soon we'll have 2 Hornby 3-rails. And the one good thing about a lot of these Hornby locos, you can put 2 or 3 on the track at the same time and run them round, and it doesn't seem to cause... I know when I was a kid they were always used to say, no, don't put 2 on the track at the same time, but a lot of this Hornby stuff seems to run like that. So anyway, that's all for tonight. That's giving you a bit of an idea of what we're going to do. We'll carry on building the Class 33. I want to super detail the cab with all the controls. All I do for a lot of that, I get photos, and there is a guy that's on eBay that does the cab controls, and he 3D prints them. So let's see if I can focus that in a bit better. He 3D prints them. So all I'm going to do, because he doesn't actually do a gauge 1, I will kind of copy roughly what's on there, because I've got an actual pictures of the inside of the cab of a Class 33. It's very hard to remember it precisely, but this is one that I've just downloaded off of Google Images. So all you need to do, go on to Google Images, and that's the picture that I got from that. So anyway, it seems to be going in and out of focus. There we are. Right, so that will do for tonight, and I'll come back tomorrow with some other bits and pieces. Thank you very much.